Hello, this is Starlene Hammond, and it's my case study on Internet Use Violations, Standard 5. What do I know? The school is called Roosevelt High School. It's an affluent area of a large city. Financially secure professional families. Children of families have the latest fashion and the latest technology. The principal is Dr. Stephen Forbes, principal of Roosevelt for 9 years, principal of the year for 2 years ago, respected by parents, established and maintains highly regarded reputation, only recommends highly qualified teachers, has met with Miss Walker several times about her instructional strategies and given suggestions. I know about Mrs. Walker. This is her first year to teach. She obtained education up to 1 year of postgraduate study. She's an older, non-traditional teacher. She's not married. She lives on her own. She teaches challenging courses to students at Roosevelt High School, such as zoology, botany, and genetics. Students consist of the most intelligent of the school. Therefore, the students are very competitive in her class. Miss Walker teaches with a rigorous, serious instructional delivery. Dr. Forbes has met with Miss Walker and given suggestions, yet none were taken and used in the classroom. Miss Walker has received a threatening email that has made her fear for her life. Identify the problem. Miss Walker received an email that contained a link to a web page. A web page created contained highly suggestive comments about her personal behaviors, criticized her rigor of classes with vulgar language and curse words. The final comment was, "Who wants Miss Walker to disappear?" which could be a life-threatening comment, and Miss Walker would fear for her life. She doesn't feel safe and secure. Dr. Forbes has been alerted and now has to present a plan of action. Things that I need to know. I need to know where and when the email was sent. What does the technology procedure suggest about such emails? I need to know if Dr. Forbes suggested a leave of absence and provided a substitute for Miss Walker. Did Miss Dr. Forbes contact a lawyer, resource officer, or the handbooks on this subject? What did Dr. Forbes do Sunday night? Has Miss Walker had previous incidents like this happen? Has Miss Walker been placed on a plan of improvement for her instructional strategies? How did Miss Walker receive her degrees? Education online or in a traditional setting? And the only reason I need to know this is that I have received education both ways. In a traditional classroom setting at a private college, and I think that I got a lot more from my education being in the classroom, being around other students, being able to share ideas. Whereas online, you don't have hands on activities, you don't have someone to talk to right beside you, or um, go to trainings with, such as Kagan structures and things like that, that I think could have helped Mrs. Walker in her classroom. And the things that I learned in a traditional setting were Kagan cooperative learning, how to use manipulatives, and especially technology. Online courses like this one, I'm on my own with technology. I have to figure it out. And if you're in a traditional setting, you have someone right there helping you and showing you how to do things with technology. Plan of action for Mrs. Walker first. She needs to have documentation, print email with the URL, and print the web page if possible. Research. Research the state law on technology harassment, district policy on harassment. Consult the student handbook on discipline for harassment/bullying. She needs to decide what she wants from the situation. Taking a legal approach opposed to letting the district handle everything. How to maintain career and what actions would preserve her character and perception of her from the students and parents. And Miss Walker needs to keep in mind that she's not a tenure teacher. She's only taught 1 year, and the things that she does at this point will reflect on her career and possibly have repercussions. So her plan of action needs to be thought out, and with her career in mind, and also the students and the parents, and how it will reflect on her in the classroom. A plan of action for Dr. Forbes, and what I would take as an administrator myself, is to console Miss Walker instead of posing the question, "Is there a student who is maybe unhappy with you?" And that was his first question, and that's very accusing. Get someone else involved right away, such as the resource officer or the superintendent. Let them know what's going on. Suggest a meeting at the school with another person present, assistant principal or the superintendent, and I would do this Sunday night, not wait until Monday morning. Document all conversations and print any documentation needed. Consult the handbooks and possibly the district lawyer. This needs to be done immediately. A resolution that keeps the success of all students in mind is first check with technology and find out where the email came from, when the web page was created, and by whom. Dr. Forbes needs to interview the students in Ms. Walker's classes. Keep faculty informed through emailed memos, being careful not to share sensitive information that may jeopardize a legal case. Look for student signatures on the technology procedures. Every student signs their student handbook at the beginning of the year, and it talks about technology and the use of and the consequences if misused. Another thing, Dr. Forbes, when interviewing the students, he needs to pose questions that can be written down. Their statements written down at the time of interview. Interview one at a time, not a group setting, and just be careful of the sensitive information. As I reflected on Miss Walker's case, I sympathized with her. Fear for one's life is a real perception and demands attention. That is Miss Walker's perception. She lives alone. She's never been married. Her parents live 3.5 hours away. So fearing for one's life is a real perception. Miss Walker is a valuable teacher to Roosevelt High and should be respected at all times. I was thinking about my own incident when a student recently hit me a rock on the playground, and I thought, all of these things went through my mind. What do I want from the situation? What do I want for the student from the situation? And all of those things went through my head, and definitely being respected by administration when I took the case to them. It was a big deal. Harassment in Miss Walker's case may have been premeditated, where my student had an anger and acted on it immediately. It was a quick temper, and he reacted any way that he could to show his emotions, whether appropriate or inappropriate. So those are the things that Miss Walker needs to think about: is uh, was it premeditated in the terms that yes, it is a life-threatening threat, or was it? I don't know, not that it's any better, but in my case, it was a quick temper and his only way to react. I did, in my case, where Miss Walker needs to also is research, research, research. Find out what the law says about assault, harassment, bullying against a teacher, and be ready to answer questions and be ready to do things appropriately by the rules and regulations set forth by the district. I felt Dr. Forbes needed to show more empathy towards his teacher. We as teachers are the adults and have the best intentions towards our students. When we ask for help, we deserve immediate action to be taken, not blame or accusations. I felt Miss Walker probably felt defeated. Having value as a teacher doesn't need to be seeked out, but instead given freely. And validation as a teacher is very important by administration. As a teacher, I always feel like my opinion and my character is withstanding until an incident happens and the student's word or actions was taken as a higher regard than mine. And that's something that, as an administrator, I want to be very careful with. And as in Miss Walker's case, show respect at all times, empathy, and immediate action taken. The things I felt are unresolved. What kind of approach was taken with the students? Did Miss Walker improve her teaching skills? Did Miss Walker get a second year contract? How did Dr. Forbes handle parent responses when the investigation began? Because the parents are so involved. They're from a community that reacts to their students, and demands good grades and a good teacher to teach them. And also, who sent the email and from where. Integrity. I felt like standard 5B was reflected model principles of self-awareness, reflective practices, transparency, and ethical behavior. As an administrator, it is important to show empathy to all teachers. Don't blame or accuse. Report the facts, respond in a timely manner, and keep the superintendent or any board members or resource officers involved and updated at all times. Fairness. Standard 5C, safeguard the values of democracy, equity, and diversity. Excuse me. Make sure everyone is treated with respect and valued. Make sure all rules and procedures are applied. Don't judge or blame. Research or investigate with attention to the facts and no personal opinions. Code of Ethics, Standard 5D. Consider and evaluate the potential moral and legal consequences of decision making. For the teacher, this means maintain her ethical behavior outside and inside the classroom, treat every student with respect and value their success in academics. A code of ethics for the administrator would be create a fair environment by stating and reporting the facts, make no accusations, solve problem with policy and procedures, success of every student and no disruptions to learning. And that is my video on the case study number 6. Thank you.